before we start, a short information about what we're talking about today. So first, we're going to start with a recap of the already launched Rexa Pro S. So we already have a Rexa Pro S line that was introduced earlier this year. Then we're going to talk about the performance extension up to 16 horsepower, their application and installation options, and some additional technical details. But first, let's start with the Rexa Pro S that is already available since March 2026. Some of you might have been or might have attended the webinar that we had in December last year for the Rexa Pro S. So this might be a repetition for you, but we also want to give the people that didn't attend the chance to learn about the Rexa Pro S. So the Rexa Pro S is a submersible sewage pump in non-clog design with a double shear macerator for reliable pressure drainage for commercial buildings and in municipal applications. The double shear macerator, you will hear that a little more often today, but we'll also have a video to explain what that is exactly. Product features of the Rexa Pro S are, as I mentioned, the radial macerator with that double shear effect, and that makes the pump highly reliable for all wastewater applications. The double shear effect means that it has an external and an internal macerator. Usually, grinder pumps either have an external or an internal macerator. The Rexa Pro S has both. In addition, the Rexa Pro S comes with a robust motor housing made from cast iron and always comes with FM approval as standard. With that, it makes it the #1 choice for water management applications and also in commercial buildings. The Rexa Pro S with the P13 motors up to 5.2 horsepower also come with a non-immersed operating mode, which is called S230 minutes. So you're able to lower the water level of the of your sump to the top of the hydraulics for up to 30 minutes. So you have the motor immersed and running permanently for 30 minutes without the motor overheating, and this is usually way enough time to empty a sump in a grinder application. And with that, you get very high switching volumes to minimize the tank size of your application. The Rexa Pro S also always comes with 2 mechanical seals as standard for excellent operational reliability. And the sealing chamber, which is below the between the 2 seals, is also monitored. So we have a leakage probe in there to detect seal failures early and prevent motor damages. If you want to have something customized, that's possible too. So we have customer-specific adaptations, so we can do different cable lengths. We can do PTC sensors instead of the bimetal sensors that are in the pumps as standard. Or we could also, for example, do an outside coating with Ceram C0 to make it the ideal solution for all of your projects that are out there. If we have a look to the duty chart for the already existing units, you can see that we have a shutoff head here of around about 190 feet and a maximum flow of around about 90 or GPM. And we have already available, or had already available, 4 different curves, one with 5.2 horsepower, one with 3.4 horsepower, one with 2.3, and one with 1.5 horsepower. If we have a look on the different stock articles that are available here, we see that we have for each of the curves, we have stock articles available. The lower 2 curves, so the 1.5 horsepower and the 2.3 horsepower curves, they all come as single-phase 330, 3-phase 330, and 3-phase 460 volt options. The 2 higher curves with 3.4 and 5.2 horsepower are only available in the 3-phase voltages, 230 volts and 460 volts. If we compare that to our previous grinder pumps that were available, the Rexa Cut range, then you can see that we already covered a way bigger duty chart with the Rexa Pro S than we did in the past with the Rexa Cut GI. And you can also see in this chart that our pumps got way more efficient than the Rexa Cut range, because as you can see here, we had a version with 3.4 horsepower, and that's almost completely covered now by our 2.3 horsepower curve. And we had versions with 2 horsepower that are now already covered with the 1.5 horse curve. So as you can see, we were able to size the motors down by 1 motor size to become, as we became way more efficient with the hydraulic and macerator combination. And as I said, we have that Rexa Pro S range up to 5.2 horsepower already available for the market since March of this year. We already have some installations in the field. This is an example from Texas, where there was one competitor pump and one of the Rexa Cuts installed, and our customers replaced the competitor pump with a Rexa Pro S and let so down here you can still see the Rexa Cut, the old outdated Wilo version, and on this side the green pump here is the Rexa Pro S. And the customer is happy since the installation didn't report any major issues. Yeah, so there are several installations out there already. If you have one, we're always happy to receive some pictures of our pumps in operation or during the installation. Yeah, and this is a good example of a retrofit. Okay. Now let's come to the new portion where we're all here for. That's the range extension of the Rexa Pro S with the Rexa Pro S0332. This is our grinder pump version with, again, the macerator with the double shear effect, and powers up to 16 horsepower. As you can already see, the motor looks a little bit different to what we've seen so far. So this is now coming with the P17 motor, the smaller versions that were already available up to 5.2 horsepower. They were coming with the P13 motor. If we have a look to the updated duty chart now, you can see here the 4 curves that were already available. So the 1.5, 2.3, 3.4, and 5.2 horsepower curves. And now we add a total of 5 additional curves here to come to a maximum shut-off head of 290 feet and a maximum flow of roughly 145 GPM. With that, we're extending our range quite a bit, and we're also having partly a bigger, or at least the same hydraulic coverage than our competitors. So as I already mentioned, we have that pump has a new hydraulic with the P17.1 motor. Just as a short reminder, when we talk about motors, that designation, so this always indicates the number here, because it's at P13 and P17. This always indicates the diameter of our stator pack, so the outside diameter of that stator pack inside the motor in centimeters. So the motor on the Rexa Pro S03 has 17 centimeter outside diameter of the stator pack, which is 4 centimeters, or around about like 1.75 inches more than the smaller one. And with that, we're getting way more power out of it. This version is available in total with 4 different motor powers. So we have 10.2 horse and 16.1 horse power motors available as standard efficiency motors, and we have 9.4 horsepower and 14.1 horsepower motors available in IE3 efficiency classes. Because of the bigger motors and with that the higher weight, we also need to put that pump on a more stable quick removal system, and we also for that then need an adapter piece. We'll see a picture of that adapter on the next slide, but this is just an excerpt of our price book, and this will also be available in Telequip. So the quick removal system for this Rexa Pro S0332 will be the EHV DN50 2RK, which goes with the 3/4 inch guide pipes. And to connect the pump to that quick removal system, we always need that adapter kit here, which is has a separate article number, but is also listed in the price book and also available in Telequip as an accessory. If we have a look to that adapter piece here, that's how it looks like. So we have one side, the bigger side here, that connects to the suspension unit, and the smaller side, you can see better from this side, from this view here. This then connects to our Rexa Pro S0332. As mentioned here, if you buy that set, the screws to connect everything together is already included in the set, so no need to add anything else to your order. If we have a look to the product features of the bigger Rexa Pro S, we don't see a big difference here. The only thing is that the Rexa Pro S with the P17 motors don't come with this S230 operation mode. So this is the only difference. Everything else is exactly the same. So we also have the radial macerator with double shear effect. We have gray cast iron motor housing with FM approval. We have 2 mechanical seals, the monitoring of the sealing chamber, and we have all the same options available as with the smaller units. If we have a closer look to the grinder itself, so to the grinder mechanism, we can see, or the hydraulic in general, we can see that we have here the outside or the outer mechanical seal. So we have in total 2. One is on the motor side, one is on the medium side. So we have the outer mechanical shaft seal we can see here. Then we have this gray cast iron motor pump housing you can see here. Always going with a 1.5 inch discharge. And we have in there a 2-channel impeller with a 0.43 inch ball passage. The macerator unit you can see here in that silver is replaceable. So you can disassemble this and replace it, and that's held in place by the standing blade. So the lower part here you can see with a total of 3 fixation screws. So one here, and one is hidden behind the impeller here for the standing blade. The rotating plate is held in place by a parallel pin fixation, and there are, I think, 2 parallel pins. One is here, one is back here, to mount that rotating blade to the impeller. That's the design here. A little more information to the grinder. So the grinder is made, or to the macerator. The macerator is made from a hardened stainless cutting steel, which is IC 440B plus CO, and has a Rockwell hardness of 59. As I already mentioned, it has that double shear effect, chopping the fibers or particles that come into the hydraulic down to 0.4 inches, and has a cutting speed of 82 feet per second. And as I already mentioned, because of this optimized hydraulic macerator combination, this is a system with a very, very low energy consumption in general. Now we can see a short video about that grinder with double shear effect. So as I already mentioned, we have an outside grinder here that first of all chops the fibers or whatever is coming into the hydraulic in smaller pieces. And then those smaller pieces enter the hydraulics and get cut a second time to make them even smaller. We can have a look to that again. So we have the outside grinding mechanism to rip the particles smaller, and then we have the inside mechanism to cut them even smaller. And if you have a look to the impeller that's coming up now, there you can see that we use a two-channel impeller here, so one channel and the second channel, which is a very, very efficient way to transport sewage compared to competitors that only have one a single grinding mechanism in there and still have very or comparably large particles in their hydraulics, and with that need partly to use vortex impellers to handle those sewage loads that are still in the hydraulic then. Okay. Now we can have a look to a little bit of technical data here. So the Rexa Pro S in general always comes with a 1.5-inch 125-pound anti-flange. The weight ranges from 84 to 241 pounds. Obviously now this is a little bit more than it was in the past where we just had the smaller versions. The maximum delivery head, as I mentioned earlier, is roughly 290 feet. The single-phase motor powers are 1.5 and 2.3 horsepower. The three-phase motor powers range from 1.5 to now 16.1 horsepower. The motor housing is always gray cast iron, and they are rated for continuous duty. The P13 motors, so the versions on the that you can see here with up to 5.2 horsepower, have this special S2 30 minutes mode where you can lower the water to the top of the hydraulics for up to 30 minutes. They always come with FM approval as standard, and example applications are railway stations, for example, industrial building complexes, or municipal pumping stations. That's where you can use those grinder pumps. But obviously, they're way more than that. That's just some examples. If we compare the Rexa Pro S with the competition products, there you can see that on the maximum delivery head, we're on par or even better as most of or as the main competitors. Also, power ranges we have pretty much the same as the competitors now, and also for non-immersed operating mode, it's all pretty much equal. For the small motor powers, we have this non-immersed operating mode, and also we always, as I mentioned, have this FM approval. Some others have CCSA US, for example. So as you can see, it's a very, very competitive product range. If you also obviously from a reliability standpoint, but also if you compare it to our competition. If we have a look to the possible installation types, we offer the Rexa Pro S range in wet installation and in transportable installation. Here you can see an overview where to use which suspension device. So as I mentioned earlier, for this Rexa Pro S0332 with the larger horsepower motors, so everything above, let's say 6 horsepower, so the 9 horsepower, 10 horsepower, 14 and 16 horsepower versions, there we need to use the suspension device DN50 2RK, which is able to handle the higher loads from the motor, so the higher weight of the pump. For all the other Rexa Pro S03, so 02, 11, 12, and 22, we can use the suspension device DN42RK. On the transportable installation, the Pro S0332, there we don't offer transportable installation. This always goes in wet installation, but the smaller versions are available transportable. So the S0302 doesn't need a foot at all. It comes with small integrated feet in the pump housing, so you can just use that as is and just have it sit on the floor. Or the other versions, the 11, 12, and 22, they need to get this pump foot, which we have available as accessories, either in IntelliQuip or in the price book. This is again an excerpt from the price book. So we have the two different quick removal systems. So we have the DN40 2RK for the smaller pumps up to 5.2 horsepower. For the bigger pumps from 9 horsepower upwards, they need this DN52RK plus this adapter to the DN50 suspension device. Guide pipes are the same for both, so we both use the they both use the 3/4 inch guide pipes, and the pump foot I just mentioned for the S03, 11, 12, and 22 is available as an accessory too. In addition, for the single phase versions, we offer a capacitor kit for start and run. If we have a look to what's available on stock, what's made to order, as I mentioned earlier, the smaller versions are available in stock in Cedarburg. So this you can have, or at least you can have with a very low lead time. So the 1.5, 2.3, 3.4, and 5.2 horsepower versions, they are in stock in Cedarburg. The newer models that we just introduced with this webinar with 9 horsepower and above, they are made to order in Germany. So these come with a little bit of a longer lead time. If there is a need for you to put them on stock, or that we should put them on stock, please let us know. And either talk to me or to your regional sales managers and give us this information, then we can work on that. Okay, and then as a last point, I have the documentation that's available. So obviously they are available in IntelliQuip, also the larger horsepower versions. Then we have the Wilo USA website with the update already in there. We have the price book update, which you should have got via email on June 18th. If you did not, please let us know. Then we got the product brochure and the installation operation manual. These are all links, so we'll send out mail at the end, probably early next week, with all the contents of today, and those are all links, so you can then click on them and download what you need.